Good evening, friends. Hello, and welcome to From Us Came Dusk, a Dungeon World game with my friends here. Look at this. Look at this. I just can't even tell you how happy with this overlay. Thanks here, first of all, to Jesse and Cole for this overlay. Look at it. I'm having a moment right now. Also here are Jimmy and Fordo. We're going to go around and do a quick round of introductions. But first of all, we are playing Dungeon World this evening and for the next 4 weeks. We will be playing a variant of it called Homebrew World by Jeremy Strandberg. So if most of the rules are the same. If some of the things sound a little bit different, don't worry about it. It's a hack to make it a little bit smoother for this kind of play, for one-shots and very short arcs. So, I will be the game master for this. I'm Kyle. I use he, him pronouns. And I love Dungeon World. So, if I could only ever play one tabletop RPG again for the rest of my life, this would be the one it would be. So, that's where we are. Let's go around real quick. Just feel free to introduce yourself. Say hello to the folks. And we'll start with Jimmy.
Hi. I'm Jimmy. I'm new here. He or they. Anything else I need to add?
No, we're good.
Yeah, just Jimmy. Yeah.
Jimmy. Jesse.
Hi, I'm Jessie. You can find me at Who's the Moose on social media platforms. She, her pronouns, and yes, I'm so excited for this game. Oh my goodness.
Oh, I can't. As one of the people who helped me kind of conceive of this, I'm sure that you are. Cole!
Hello, I'm Cole. My pronouns are she, they, and you can find me at Cole Moriel on the Twitters.
On the tweets, yes. And Cole has played this with me before, so if there are any game questions, Cole will be the one to correct me on the rules. That's how it's going to work, right?
Oh, definitely.
No, yeah. Definitely. And then finally, another new face, Forda. Say hello.
Hi, I'm Forda Bear. Forda. On almost all the social media, that's my handle, unless it's Lexarts with 2 X's. She, they, he pronouns. It's whatever. Gender's weird.
Gender's bullshit. No, I get it. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah. And we're all good. So, Dungeon World itself. Let's talk about this a little bit. Is a game. It's got 2 completely different source games, as it were, that it's built out of. First of all, it is clearly based on the name and all the tropes that it involves. It is basically a love letter to Dungeons and Dragons, especially the early editions of Dungeons and Dragons. The folks who wrote it, Sage LaTorra and Adam Coble, wrote it because they loved those old versions, but they wanted to also use the rules chassis of another game called Apocalypse World, which is why you'll hear games called Powered by the Apocalypse. Games that are powered by the apocalypse, it's a pretty broad stroke of description, and it can mean a bunch of different things. Really, it just means any game that the designers of the game kind of are willing to say, hey, the Apocalypse World and the way that it works inspired us to make this game, and hopefully you can see that in the game. And the only other real rule is that there's more specific wording around it, is that they're not like terrible humans making a game about terrible human things. In which case, the people who make Apocalypse World will not so kindly, ask them to pull that off. And I say that because people kind of think, all Powered by the Apocalypse game use the same dice structure, and most of them do, but not all of them, or they all do this or that. But here's the thing. In these games, it's not really... The mechanics are there just to support the fiction. We'll talk about fiction-first gaming when we talk about PBTA games. And what we mean is, whatever is in the narrative, the conversation that we're having, rules. And that can override, actually, the mechanics if it needs to be. And to do a thing in the game, you do it. You don't say, first of all, I'm going to roll defy danger. I'm going to roll hack and slash. You say what you're doing. I'm trying to duck under the dragon's fire breath and slide underneath it. And then we figure out how we model that in the rules. We'll all kind of have a quick conversation and figure that out. Usually it's pretty obvious, right? When it's not, we'll talk about it. There are certain rules on the Game Master / referee / whatever, different. In Dungeon World, it's called the Game Master. In other PBTA games, they have slightly different names. It's all, y'all know how it is. They can't use the trademark term Dungeon Master, so they come up with something that's more fitting for whatever that is. And I'm not in love with the master part of it anyway. Somebody said the other day, Dragon Manager or something, and I love that so much. Like, that's so much better. Anyways, so the point of it is there are rules on me as well. I am actually rules bound to be a fan of your characters. Now, all of that really does is codify what's good practice anyway, right? If you've run any kind of game, like, you want the players to kick ass and be awesome. You just don't want it to be like a snooze fest of them just walking through, right? But, certain different games emphasize different kinds of challenges. So in this world, we'll talk a little bit about what the kind of aesthetics that we jointly agreed on in advance were as part of the concept of the game. But that's, kind of the idea is we're taking kind of those tropes of D&D and we're going to apply them over here. The basic unit of rules in Dungeon World is called a move, which is basically kind of it's structured like an if-then statement, right? But it's phrased as when you do X, then X rule happens. It could be dice rolling. It could be something just happens. There's a few other little things that it can be. We'll get through those. When we do roll dice, it's almost always you roll 2 6-sided dice. You add or subtract a number. If it's 10 or above, you basically did what you wanted. You tell me basically what happens. If it's 6 or lower, you failed at what you did. Or maybe you didn't fail, but really what it means is I get to make a move. And if it's 7 through 9, right, we kind of negotiate. You get some of what you wanted, but not all. It's like success at a cost, right? So, let's go through first character creation. Nobody has created their characters yet, for everybody watching, because that's part of the fun of this game. So, all of you have the Homebrew World rules, and for those of you who are just watching and if you literally search for Homebrew World RPG, if you just search without RPG, you're going to get a bunch of stuff about beer. But if you search Homebrew World RPG at Spouting, you'll get a blog called Spouting Lore, and it'll be there if you're interested in watching. There are different playbooks which roughly correspond to classes. It's not actually the same as a class, truly, but you can kind of think of it that way. What it really is you telling me the kinds of moves you want to be able to make, the kind of background that you want to have, the kinds of things you want to exist in the world, because this is not a pre-existing setting. We're building it right now, right? So for everybody else watching, the thing that we've agreed on is this is sort of a far future, way post-apocalyptic world where some kind of technical, maybe magical, don't know, but at least a highly advanced technological civilization fell, and now it's hundreds or thousands or whatever, some unknown huge amount of time has passed. And there are still ancient ruins in the world, but nobody kind of understands the technology that was there anymore. Now the world is covered in, greenery, and it's sort of if you think of, our touch points for this obviously included things like Breath of the Wild and Horizon Zero Dawn, and other things as well, like you might be able to see behind me, right? Art from the Gathering world of Zendikar. We did a lot of looking at kind of reclaimed by nature kinds of things. So that's what's here. Jesse, what was do you remember the phrase that you used that has been my cornerstone for all of this?
Like holograms and magic and tech and robots.
And greenery and holograms and all of this stuff. Yeah, which is why we have all these plants here and also the little hologram thing going on the overlay. Again, that Cole and Jesse, I'm just in love with this overlay right now.
I might print this overlay out and frame it.
The other thing that I'll ask of y'all, as you're creating your characters, I would like it if you're from, if not the same village, and at least the kind of this general area. It's not that you're from someplace else, unless there's one exception to this, and that's if you're a barbarian. Barbarians, that's their whole thing, is that they're from wherever they're from, it's not around here. They're not barbarians in kind of the sense of they're uncivilized, truly. They're just from a whole different part of the world is what that really means. Maybe an unfortunate name. They're sticking with the kind of the D&D type names. So, y'all look through there. So, quickly, there's a fighter, which is what it sounds like. In Dungeon World, there's just one fighter, and their whole shtick is they have a special weapon. In Homebrew World, that's split up between the fighter and the last one, which is called the wielder. The wielder has that magic weapon. The fighter is just really, really good at fighting. There's the thief. You can guess what they are. There's the wizard, which is really, if you've ever played like really, really old school D&D, where they used to call it the magic user, and now we have it split up between like warlock and wizard and sorcerer. Now it's just all under wizard, but you can get your powers from different places. Like there's one that's basically a warlock. Cleric, feel free, by the way, in each of these you'll pick one of 4 backgrounds. And the cleric in particular, you are free, completely free to change the name if you wish of your deity. Feel free. The same way you pick your look, and we'll talk about that stuff in a minute. The barbarian, again, their whole thing is they're from someplace else. The ranger, really good with the wilds. There's different. They don't necessarily. They all have an animal companion, but they can have different levels of focus on it. There's the bard. The bard is the only other kind of magic user that's sort of arcane in that sense. And there's, again, different kinds of bards, right? Not every bard just, like, plays the lute and sings in taverns, right? You can certainly play that if that's what you want, but you are not restricted to that by any means. The paladin, sort of, right, the holy warrior who is a servant of some, or has some oath that they want to follow. The druids in Dungeon World are more about changing shape than anything else. They're not just nature wizards. So in D&D 5e terms, right, we'd call these Circle of the Moon, for the most part, kinds of druids. That's basically their thing. And then the wielder, where you get a special weapon. So, first of all, just very quickly, what classes are y'all each thinking about?
I'm very bad at making decisions. So, like, all of them.
They are all good. Like, there is no wrong choice. Like, and I realize that kind of makes it worse.
Yeah.
Is my video working?
No,
nope.
it's not.
In fact,
That
it is not.
weird.
We still see your face. You look very serious and thoughtful.
Yes, you're thinking about
Like, you're like,
Yeah, I'm a little sad. My first 2 picks were like going to be the fighter, but I'm not really a fan of the version this is, the fighter or the wielder.
What is it that you... Is there something in particular you're not a fan of?
I mean, I like the idea of just a normal guy with a magical weapon rather than a sort of magical wielder of a magic weapon sort of split.
So in the wielder, there's, assuming that you, maybe the vessel where kind of it's a sentient weapon, I think.
I look at the options. I mean, I'm good with just sort of like picking something at the very end, like that complements everybody else's. I was thinking like paladin, druid, or wizard, or something like that.
All right.
Yeah. My second choice was going to be the immolator, but
yeah, they didn't port that one over, which would be fun to write maybe at some point. Write a Homebrew World playbook for the immolator. How about Cole or Jesse? What are y'all thinking about?
Hang on, plugging in my laptop. So I was thinking cleric, actually.
You did make a suggestion the other day that made me think that's where you were going.
Really? What?
In Discord.
No.
You said something about clerics healing souls, and I was like, oh. So Jesse wants to play a cleric. Cool. How about Cole?
I think I might be playing a ranger.
Wow. See, Jesse, that's what happens. You snooze, you lose.
No, this is good. I'm glad. I'm happy for you.
I'm excited.
All right. So we've got a cleric and a ranger. So now, Forda and Jimmy, how are you two feeling about this?
I'm torn between druid and bard. Bard.
Hard.
Oh, those are both so good.
I
They
know.
are. They are. The thing is, so the druid, as I mentioned, it kind of focuses on the shape changing, right? And then the bard, obviously can be played sort of like a roaming performer or somebody who was actually a scholar of some sort. There's a few different ways to do that. And then, of course, the druid similarly has. Why am I not? There we go. Could be a druid kind of in the way that we think of it, right? A keeper of the old faith. They could be sort of a trickster. They could be more tied to their animals.
Before I continue, do you guys know any way to fix my camera?
The only thing that I have to suggest, and I hesitate, but it's probably the best thing, is you can restart Zoom.
Okay. Okay, I'll restart Zoom. You make the decision, and I'll pick something after that. I'll see you in a second.
Okay. All right, Forda, what you got?
Help me pick. Nerd, a trickster, or
Did you say nerd?
typical smarmy idiot.
All three of those sound like bards to me.
Funny, one of them is a druid, I promise.
I like trickster.
Yeah.
I like nerd.
Nerds are always good. All right, let me swap out some video stuff here.
Yeah, I'm gonna flip a coin.
Hey.
Yeah, your video. Yeah, I just need to.
Indecisive.
You're
I need
back.
I need to swap a couple of people, but that's okay.
Oh, come
See,
back.
this is the good thing about being second. I just don't leave, and I don't need to move.
Okay.
Yeah, until you have to, and then it'll be like, "Why did you do that to me?"
No, it's gonna be fine.
Call it. Heads or tails?
Heads.
Okay. Heads is the bard. Come on. Heads is the bard.
All right.
All right.
You have chosen wisely.
Bard. Okay. I'm thinking maybe Paladin, because I like playing characters that can possibly go against the group for weird reason.
So it's interesting to me.
Like conflicting motives, but like still on the.
This is fine. This is good. It's interesting to me that we have two divine magic users in here. That's good. In this, it's really good actually, because that kind of says something about the world, right? Is that, hey, divine magic? Oh, let me transition now that I fixed this. There we go, and there we go. Anyway, about the world. So, what you do is each of you kind of go through, pick your look. So in Dungeon World, in Homebrew World,
I'm gonna go print out my sheet real quick.
perfect. Your what they will call in D&D terms race, right? Is just a look. Are you a dwarf? Are you an elf? Are you something else that you're making up? Either you're bringing in from another game, or you've always wanted to play, a slug person. I don't know. That's just part of your look. It doesn't have any mechanical anything to it. You can write in whatever you want. Jory and Drake, we don't really we're making it up as we go. Like, we're creating the setting right now. It's a world where magic exists now. There was many years ago a technological civilization that might have also had magic. Certainly their technology seems like magic, but unknown magic now. And we're kind of like we're building it collaboratively together as we go. You'll each have a few things to pick about the rest of your character's look. Maybe their eyes, their voice. There's a few things, and you can choose from one of the options there if you don't know what to pick, or if you have something in mind of how you conceive of your character, then you just write it in and go for it. It's fine. then you pick a background, right, for each of you. Don't ask these questions yet. We're going to go around and do some questions later. And these questions are how we're going to do some of the world building as well, and also build connections between the characters. It's not you meet in a tavern and you don't know each other. It's you're already a group, and we're figuring out, we're going to build together what that group is. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I'm just wondering what everybody else is like deciding for their race, I guess. For the, you can keep going if there's more.
Yeah, no. It's just I was just going to say, yeah, you pick. So I am curious to know: are y'all going with kind of the standard elves, dwarves, humans, or are you making up? Like somebody asked me earlier if they could play a tiefling, and I was like, I asked you that question.
So I guess I can answer it. I am going to go with a gnome.
Awesome. I'm very partial to gnomes, and all the short peoples in D&D have my love.
I usually play as a tall. I usually play talls. I think it's time for me to play a small.
All right, play a small.
Play small.
Forda, Jimmy, Cole, what you got?
I actually kind of had a character that I hadn't played before, so I'm gonna see how I can incorporate them to this, but I kind of want to play like a little forest.
So I'm laughing because of Forda's face when they came back from the video disappearing for a second.
Sorry, my video cut out.
Yeah, it's fine. You're back now. It's all fine. It's all good. We're fine. This is streaming life.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. But yes, I think I'm going to be playing like a little forest imp.
Okay, a forest imp, you said?
Yeah, picture basically a pink goblin.
Okay.
Of
my
course.
gosh. So we're going to have a pink goblin imp.
Whatever.
I got it. We're going to have a gnome, cleric, and Forda, what have you thought about?
I'm thinking probably some kind of elf-y sort of character. Like, they're not your I say stereotypical. They're not your traditional elf. They've got some elf in them, maybe.
Okay.
We
So
just don't know.
they're elfish. All right. So Jimmy, what
They
are you
got
thinking
elfy
about now?
ears.
I was like debating something either real small, like a kobold, or something real big, like a troll or something like that. Or I don't.
Basically,
I think-
whatever
yeah.
whatever you choose asserts to me something about the world, right?
I think to complement the two short people, I'm gonna go big boy.
Yes!
Should I? Wait, this is the place with like machinery and stuff.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Maybe not a
Turning.
maybe not a machine race, but like part cyborg or something like slightly mechanic.
Right. They got like some kind of mechanical or prosthetic or something cybernetic bits.
My sacred order. I am
Oh, this
Yeah.
is good.
like okay. I got some ideas.
So, while you're doing this, when you're ready, when you've picked you go to your second page, and you'll see on there your stats. So, unlike D&D and Dungeon World, we don't have like abilities and modifiers. You just have the modifier. So you put a +2 in one of them, a -1 in another one, and then +1s and +0s evenly in the others. You have a certain number of HP based on your class, period. You'll have a damage die based on your class. Armor works differently. Basically, your armor, and you only have armor if something gives you armor, right, is damage reduction. So if you have 1 armor, every time I tell you take 6 damage, you know that you just take 5 damage. It doesn't affect how hard you are to hit. Don't worry about gear unless you have a starting move that picks your gear or says something about gear. But gear is basically you have it when you need it. You get a certain amount of kind of load that you're carrying. And so you're out in the world and suddenly you're like, man, a fight is starting. I really wish I was carrying a shield. Boom, you mark off 2, you have of your load and you have a shield. You're like, I really need a rope and a grappling hook. All right, you mark that off, and that's one of what you have. It just so happened that you brought exactly what you needed, is the way that works. And then under your starting, you get all of your starting moves. Some of them will have some choices to make at the beginning. So, as an example, the cleric, you get 5 spells of the 8 or 9 that are there. The ranger obviously has an animal companion. The bard, you have 3 kinds of arcane workings that you can choose. And then the paladin obviously chooses their oaths. Everybody's got something to pick. So, Jordan, in terms of picking a domain, they don't pick a domain like they would in 5e. But what they do is they pick their deity, and their deity has some moves associated with it, and sort of an implied kind of here are the things that they are about. As I said, Jesse, feel free to name your deity whatever. There's some suggestions there if you can't think of one, but you are not restricted to that by any means.
I'll need to think on that.
No worries. So again, this is a love letter to D&D, but it's a love letter to old school D&D, where the original game, right, had 3 classes: fighter, magic user, and cleric. Then they added thief, which, believe it or not, is super controversial even now among some kinds of players, because everybody, the original game, it was going into dungeons and getting treasure, right? That was the whole point of the game. You got score by how much gold you pulled back up. And so everybody could be a thief. And then later they added a bunch of the other classes, like monks and assassins were a class, and druids and that sort of thing. Yeah. Jimmy, you had a question?
No, a friend just got onto the stream.
Hello.
And I was waving.
Hello, friend that joined the stream.
Sorry about that.
No. I just thought you had a question.
No.
You're not allowed to have friends. This is real serious stuff, man. Hello, Elephant Bird.
A little serious.
Super serious. So yeah, so you should have your stats, your starting moves. Let me talk a little bit about leveling up. When you do certain things, you'll get XP. You can either spend that XP to add to a roll, or when you get up to 5 XP, you pick one of the advanced moves at any time. You don't have to wait for making camp. You don't have to wait for between sessions. So you can, and you get XP when you roll a 6-. So the way it's like real life, right? The way we get experience is when we screw up, and we learn what we wish we had known before we screwed up, and that's how you get XP in this game. One of the big ways you get it is through rolling a 6 or less on any of that. There are also, if you do make camp for the night, there are also some ways to get XP at that if you have done the things that are kind of defining for your character, and if you have grown as a group and learned stuff about each other. Jimmy, you got so many friends. I think that's great.
Oh, hi!
And we have people
Italy.
people watching from all over the world, from Hungary and Italy.
Hey.
Man,
Sono
it is
Italiana.
It is way late over there. I'm sure that Jimmy has many friends. I'm just glad that at least 2 of them are here.
I have no idea how to see a Twitch chat.
That's fine. You have Elephant Bird and Moon No,
Yeah.
Boskatron.
Oh yeah, those are both my friends.
I'm trying to pick a drive, and it's so hard.
A drive.
I think. Oh, I don't like the sound of that. I think this one. This sounds the best.
Oh yeah, I forgot you each have to pick a drive. Yes,
Yeah.
that's important for getting XP because when you make camp, if you've met your drive's requirement, you get XP.
Do we ever get to pick a second drive or anything, or is it just that one drive?
It's just the one drive.
Okay. They're all so good.
I mean, you can roleplay like you can certainly like your character has got more than one thing. It's more you're only going to get the one XP, and if you did the one that you chose there. So drive is like it's like what it's it's like motivation. So for example, for a thief, it's the thief. Yeah, the thief. The drives are defiance, stand up to a bully or tyrant, conscience, forego comfort or advantage, do the right thing, excitement, trickery. Yeah, it kind of replaces alignment. Is lawful? What does that mean? Evil and good. Good Lord, what does that mean? Here, let's just get concrete, and you pick the thing that means something for you. The wizard could be curious or cunning or eccentric or mysterious. Yeah. And that's, again, says... It's telling other people and yourself kind of how do you want to play this character. Yeah, the normal alignment system has gotten way out of alignment with its original fictional inspiration. Like, you've ever read, like, 3 Hearts and 3 Lions, where Law and Chaos came from? It's totally not the way that people think of it now. It has more to do with how the world works. And it is mutated over the years into something that is both unrecognizable and not that useful. All right, so everybody's got their stuff. Does anybody have anything they still got to select?
I still have a bunch of stuff to select. There's just so many good options. But
I know, it's so hard.
I can go last. Yeah.
I'm good. I think I got everything.
All right. Cole, you good?
I think so. I don't know if, for Animal Companion, could I have a Wolverine and then use the stats for, what is this, cat? Use cat.
I take a look. I don't remember what they are.
Wolverine is like a badger, but like leveled up.
Right. Yeah. You could absolutely have a Wolverine and say that it's like the cougar or leopard or lynx or whatever. I think a Wolverine and a lynx are very similar anyway, aren't they?
Yeah. As far as like stats go.
Right. I am certainly no expert on any of that stuff by a very long shot. But I think of them similarly.
Wolves, bears, and anything else. Like. Oh, fun fact about a Wolverine. They finally saw one for the first time in like 80 years in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan again.
Really?
Oh, yay.
Oh, yay.
Confirmed.
Oh, I love Wolverines. They'll maul your face off.
Right back.
I thought they were all in Canada. Womp womp.
Not anymore.
I got
They're so good.
But yes, you could absolutely just call it a Wolverine.
Yay!
All the X-Men jokes.
For ranger damage it's a D8?
Yep.
Is that what that says?
That is a D8.
What is the paladins? I don't play enough games that use non-D6.
So the paladin that's a D10.
D10. Interesting.
Paladins hit hard, man.
Ooh.
I think that's
Got a hot bite, real hot. Oh.
That might have been Forta. So about the cleric and like retrofitting some things for this world.
Okay.
Could I, because we're coming from the same village? I don't want to
Ish, or region, whatever. I was going to be like, oh, I'm from, unless you're the barbarian, right? From You're not from someplace else, but yeah, just from the same general area, yeah.
Yeah, I kind of like the idea of my character being like used to be the apprentice of like the town healer, and so
Okay.
but also still very like religious, but like maybe I make little like poultices, or what do you call them? Like salves and salves and stuff.
Right.
Into my cure wounds. Like that's my curing wounds.
So, two things. One is that you can absolutely, there's certainly some magic involved with it, right?
Yeah.
Because there are ways of doing some healing with supplies and things like that. Because in fact let me take a look here. Violence and recovery moves. Yeah, that's what expend one use of supplies. You can flavor it however you want. I think the thing is clearly, right, because this is fiction first gaming, right? When we say do it, so there you may be using some kind of small salves, but unlike everybody else, are able to infuse it with some kind of magic, right? Yeah. There's some power happening that it's not the same as if Cole's character does it, right?
Correct. Yes.
That's the main thing.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, you try, it's not gonna work.
And how is armor decided again?
You will either have something in your moves that tells you have armor, or if you look in your gear, so you are a ranger. Let me look specifically at the rangers so we look at the same thing. You get up to 3 load. There's something that you can do that will give you an extra 2 load, apparently. Oh, yeah, one of the advanced moves. If you then look underneath that, right, you could mark one of those off and say that is for your leather, cuirass, or thick hides and take 1 armor. Otherwise, you're just in whatever kind of clothes that you have, and you wouldn't have armor in that case.
For the Sacred Order, is it okay if I pick 4 things instead of 3?
For the Sacred Order, let me look at
one of the backgrounds of the Paladin. I feel like some of them kind of like mesh together, so.
You could choose so many.
Yeah. It's kind of hard to choose.
The thing is that the influence there is you get advantage on parley. So
okay.
that's the thing. So you can certainly kind of talk about, oh, we also are very honorable, but maybe they don't necessarily aren't known for that per se.
Okay. What is like a trove of lore? Is that like a library or
could be?
What?
It could be a trove of, so it could be a library. It could be a set of, I can imagine some set of speakers or elders that are the keepers of lore in some particular temple. It could be, in art, or maybe some songs that everybody knows, and like you have this songbook that you carry around everywhere that has holy songs in it or something. I could think of a few different ways that you could call that.
Okay.
But it's a library in some sense. But if that's books or whatever, who knows?
Okay.
You back yet, Forda?
I think I finished my character.
Cool. Cole?
Yeah, wait.
I'm good.
Jesse?
I'm good.
Forda, you back?
Not yet, I think.
I don't think so either. I'm just...
Let's just look at this overlay some more.
Yeah. Everybody just admire the overlay that Jesse and Cole did, because that's how good it is. Like, honestly, I spent some time today just doing that, just like. And then when you sent me the last little bit of the animated thing, I was just.
When I was sending Cole my work in progresses and like freaking out and also getting very frustrated at the same time. So I was like, it's not perfect.
Wait a minute, it's not. It is perfect.
Hashtag artist problems.
No, it is perfect now. I love it now.
Okay, it is. It is so good. I'm so happy with it. Yeah, that's what it is. It's just for that animation piece. It's just a GIF. Yeah.
Oh, it looks so good.
While we're waiting, I'm going to ask one of my kind of initial questions. Near your... Well, first of all, where are you all from? What is this place?
Like the town?
Yeah,
Like a
town,
name?
region, whatever. Yeah, what is it? Tell me about it.
I think it's a smallish village. I'm kind of picturing almost I'm kind of picturing like the Nora
What's Nora?
from Horizon Zero Dawn.
Ah.
They're one of the more primal tribes, and they think that the technology is like it's against their religion, and they see it as bad. Muy malo, not good.
But they also incorporate it into their like garb and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah. But I'm picturing their architecture is more like hide tents and wood huts and that whole kind of thing.
Yeah, it's very like it makes me think of like Indonesian Sumatran houses, honestly. But that's because I grew up there.
Jimmy, does this fit with kind of what you're thinking?
I'm trying to think more like I can think of maybe like there being a chapter or something like that near like this is I think I'm going more tech-y sort of
I
vibe.
feel like
Yeah.
Well, I kind of like maybe the idea of like maybe this town is like right next to a giant cliff that overlooks it, and like on top of the cliff mountain area is a chapter of my order, which is more technological than the town itself. But it's maybe like a day's travel, not very far.
Perfect. Yeah, I just
Yeah,
didn't want
I
everybody
like
being
it.
from wholly disparate areas. They don't have to actually be like, well, you grew up next door to me. I mean, that's perfectly fine if you
Yeah.
did, also.
yeah, I kind of like the idea that like maybe Cole, where your character is, it's less technologically.
I think I'm from like just outside. Like I've been in the woods. I'm wild.
You're a ranger. Got it.
I'm a
Yeah.
ranger. I'm feral.
Got it.
I'm a
Yeah.
little feral. It's okay.
So you kind of grew up you didn't grow up in town, as it were.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I feel like my character would absolutely have grown up in town, especially if she was this like healer cleric's apprentice, and she does have a connection with this divine entity. So I'm assuming some kind of like technological, mechanical place of worship, say, that I would visit, but I'd also like go out into nature and like collect things for supplies.
Do you think your church has anything to do with my sacred order, or do you think they're separate entities?
I think
Because I feel very much like I'm kind
So-
of like the idea of like the inquisitor who like comes into town and does like trades and stuff like that, and like.
So let's do this. Let's hold on to that one.
Yeah.
Because that's going to tie in directly to these background questions that we're going to ask as soon as Forda gets back, hopefully.
Has anyone pinged her?
I think she's using her phone as webcam. Just based on the angle of it.
Yeah, and the...
Forda! Come back!
I just pinged him in Discord. We'll see if that helps.
Say something, I'm giving up on you.
Yeah, it's they use a tablet and they put a piece of paper over the camera when they stepped away. Well, okay. We're gonna do this. We'll catch them up when they get back. I would like you all to introduce your characters by give us your name, tell us what the look that you chose, and your background, but don't ask your background questions yet. Just, my name is Jimbo. I'm a fighter. I look like this, and this, and and I'm a gladiator or whatever, right? So let's go with Cole first, because Cole looks so ready and anxious to go. Cole, tell us your name, and notice that from here on out, I'm just going to call you by your character names. So pick a name that's easy to say.
Okay. So, my name is Nettle, and
Nettle?
I grew up Nettle.
Nettle. Okay. All right.
Yep, my name's Nettle, and I'm a ranger and a forester. Yeah.
You own a Wolverine.
Huh?
I'm just picturing a tiny pink imp with a Wolverine in that voice.
Oh my!
Oh yeah. Oh, she's 2'5", and so she has like these weird like antlers coming out of her ears, her head, not her ears, but her ears are really big, and she's got like a bone piercing, and her hair is really big and bushy, and it's got like leaves and branches, and her bow has like all of these like it has like moss and crystals and everything on it. Yeah, it's really cool, and I'm 2'5".
Wow. Anything else you want to tell us about? Hey, welcome back, Forda! Yay!
Yay! Forda's back.
Forda's back. Forda, we'll pause Cole for just a second. Forda, have you got your character selection stuff made?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So what we decided was, and you can certainly put your spin on this, absolutely. Cole and Jesse's characters are from a village, and Jimmy's character is a paladin whose order has like a chapter or a monastery or whatever near said village. You don't have to be, as long as your character is kind of from that area. Jesse, could you want to describe again real quick kind of how you imagine this village?
Okay, so the village we're imagining is, it's got, at least taking in from what Cole was saying, we have technology in our village. Cole's living kind of on the outskirts in the woods, thus the sticks in her hair. But we also, I am picturing I was an apprentice or am now my own cleric / healer. There's a place of worship that has a big like robotic / mechanical statue of a big like statue of a deity, perhaps smaller statues of smaller deities. But there's this place of worship, so it ties into Jimmy's character a little bit. But yeah, I feel like I'm the one who bounces between like super technological / magic and like I'm gonna go walk in the woods and gather some herbs and stuff.
I have thoughts on that, but I'm going to sit on it.
I dig it. So, Forty, you're cool. Your character's kind of more or less from that same general area.
Yeah, I'm thinking that they're probably from this area and have been away for a while and have only just recently come back to it.
Great. So, Cole, you are playing Nettle, the impish ranger forester with a wolverine.
Yeah.
Okay. Whoo! This is a lot. Jesse, tell us about your character real quick. Just name, look, and background.
Hi, my name is Piper. I am a lot younger looking than I actually am. Everyone thinks I'm a little girl. I'm not. I'm a gnome. I'm only 3 feet tall. I have red hair. I like to wear big hats, different kinds of hats. I like to weave flowers in them while I walk around. And I just want to be taken seriously. And no one ever takes me seriously. And I don't know why.
Whew. So are you a cultist, itinerant mystic, Templar, or servant?
I am a servant. I want to help people. And every time I try to help people, they're like, go away, little girl. And I'm like, I'm not a little girl. I'm here to help you.
Oh, my. Oh, there's so much in this. All right. So we have Nettle and Piper. Jimmy, do you want to introduce us real quickly to your character?
Sure. My character's name is Titania Lucius, but you can just call him Lucius. Titania is sort of like, I don't think rank, but like a it's a descriptor of what they are.
Okay.
And what they are is a troll. I'm thinking more like Scandinavian troll.
Good.
Just like a big guy with a big tail. They are older. I am older than I look. I have soulful eyes. I have unshakable poise. And I have flesh that has been incorporated with armor. So they kind of look like they have metal bits like just kind of attached to them. And that's kind of part of their sacred order is like
breathe.
Being part machine. Speaking of my sacred order, my sacred order is known for their fanatic zeal, their troves of lore, which I'm thinking is sort of like they keep tabs on a lot of things, a lot of archives, just in general, because keeping up maintenance means like keeping up with knowledge of the maintenance and things like that. So they kind of keep a lot of knowledge and stuff. And also holy relics, which I'm thinking is more like mechanical, very they see it more as spiritual, but it's like very mechanically working sort of objects and big machines or small machines and gadgets and things like that.
I'm just having a moment, that's all. Yeah, this is so much fun. I'm loving this. Forda, who is your character?
My character is Luca. He's kind of elfy, at least from the top to about his midriff, and then from there down, it's like, we think maybe somebody might have had a joke at your expense. He's got like pseudo-dragon-ish looking feet, like legs with like cloudy looking, like, I guess fur.
So I missed that. The lower portion of the body is dragon-ish, furry dragon-ish, and the upper portion of the body was what?
Just elf. He looks like an elf until you look down, and then it's like, wait.
Dragon
It looks like maybe he had a magical accident, except he insists he was born this way.
Baby, I was born.
That's exactly what I was going. All right, and what?
I will doodle you guys a version of like.
Oh, please do.
Like.
This, I'm sure it'll be fantastic. What background did you choose?
He is a scholar. I don't know that there's necessarily a legit college per se, but he went somewhere to learn from someone.
Okay, so like through a mentor or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. I'm digging it. All right. So, I'm going to go around now. I'm going to ask y'all some questions, and then y'all will get to go around and ask each other questions. Near this, do you have a name for the village? Don't say like Kikariko Village or something.
Lorcan.
Lorcan? Huh.
I was thinking like
You don't have to use that.
California.
We have Lucius, Luke, and Luca, who live near Lorcan. Is this village? Wait. Is this village named after like a half devil?
I have no idea.
Oh, sorry. Lorcan was from a Forgotten Realms novel. That's what I was. Or there's a character named that.
Should I change my name? I didn't realize I
Y'all-
wasn't like paying attention to names that
Too
much.
late.
Like,
Well, if anything, I should probably change my name.
Y'all pick what you want. So, is Lorcan the name y'all like, or y'all want to choose? Your as a group, what are y'all happy with? What is your consensus?
I
can you say it again?
Lorcan?
Lorcan?
Lorcan. Luca from Lorcan.
I just threw that out
We
there.
could just, well, we could tweak it. It could be. Of course, now I'm thinking lichen. Freaking witch.
Maybe not.
Marley Lou?
Like Hannah. Like here, like.
Fruits werewolves.
Maybe let's have like at the end, since we have so many L names. Like like or something like that, or
I call?
I call?
Like call?
Like call?
I call?
I call or like I call?
I call.
I literally took
I call.
lichen and put L at the end.
I call.
I call. I like that.
I call.
Apple featuring its new product, I call.
Hi.
Maybe there was like an old advertisement for a mobile phone that everything was like wiped away except for I call.
So it's I call.
It's I call.
If you
I think we're settling that the town's name shall be I call.
if you're happy, I'm happy.
I feel like it needs to be spelled with a K though.
Maybe it should be like we all mispronounce I call to like ickle. No, wait, I take that back.
No, I specifically am the one who mispronounced it as Ickle.
Okay. So the village of Ikal or Ickle, duly noted. Near this village, there are always these stories about this blue ghost that's sometimes seen off in the woods. What kinds of stories have you heard or told about this blue ghost?
My sacred order does not talk about ghosts as they do not exist, and we do not talk about such trivial things in the village.
I think maybe one time I might have talked to it. I'm pretty sure.
I mean, I've definitely seen it, but I thought it was just, some random tech glitch. You sure?
There's so many things in the forest though.
So the Paladin Order thinks it's not real.
Or if it is, it's that it's just like a mechanical phenomenon, and it's not actually like dangerous or anything.
Maybe it was an SOS signal. Maybe someone's trying to ask for help.
I've heard it told that it used to be a person who's trapped in a machine. I've also heard it told that it's straight a ghost. And who knows? I think maybe both.
Okay.
Sounds like someone needs help.
This ghost is usually seen near some sort of a cave or vault that no one ever goes in, or perhaps if anyone has gone in, no one's ever come out. Why does no one ever go into the vault, or why do people believe that they shouldn't go in there?
Because if you listen really close, you can hear voices coming from it. It's like these really weird whispers, and I don't know, it's really scary in there, and it's really dark. I don't think we should go in there.
I agree. Sometimes you'll hear songs from the whispers, and
I've heard them.
people insist that if you listen too long, it'll drive you mad. I haven't gotten to that point yet, but it's still creepy.
Maybe it is an SOS signal. If people are going in there and they're not coming out, everyone needs help. We should go. It's someplace to explore.
Okay. This is good. So now we all kind of have the initial kind of, clearly you can see what's going on here. There's a blue ghost and there's a vault and there's a couple other things when we get to that. But first, we're going to go around and each of you can ask one question from your chosen background. And somebody else should answer it. Each of you do one, and we'll go around. And then after everybody's done one, we'll go back around and you ask a second question until everybody's good with their questions, right? So let's start with Forda. I'm sorry. I said that wrong. Let us start with Luca.
All right. So, Luca is from a college that is studying this tech that's around, the weirder stuff. So, which of you is in that group's employ?
What do you mean? Like the school is employing them?
Yeah, which of you works for that group somehow that Luca was studying with?
Oh, it definitely was not me. You studied where? You studied. I have a lot of questions.
Lots of field trips.
Field trips?
Stuff to find and look at things and stuff.
You don't do that every day?
I feel like Nettle just explores fields all by herself.
That sounds
I
exciting.
mean, I came from a tree, so...
Like, you came from a tree?
Yeah. You didn't come from a tree?
No.
So clearly it's not Nettle. Piper or Lucius, maybe one of you, at some point, Lucius, maybe you, since they're doing tech research.
Yeah. I'm thinking maybe the school and my chapter, like, because we want to get more knowledge, we're, like, investigating this. Like, they hired us because we're tech experts, and we're, like, in exchange going to get some of their books or things or information.
Okay. All right. Nettle,
Do you have a name for the school?
Ooh, I should think of one.
Okay.
okay. That is good. Nettle, can you ask one of your questions?
Sure. Yeah, I totally can. Let me see here. Hmm.
I'm not going to be able to with this.
That voice is too good.
I'm not going to be able to. No, I will totally be able to. It's just so good.
So, which of you have no business being in my forest? Which of you has no business being here?
I mean,
Mine.
you've seen me. I'm collecting herbs and I give you things to help heal you. So I definitely have business in this forest.
Oh, I really like you.
Okay.
Bag of maps and books.
I really like finding flowers for Piper's hat.
Oh.
Every time she comes to visit me, I give her a new one.
So precious. Yes. Okay, so Luca really doesn't need to be out in the forest. He will be anyway. But yeah. All right.
I'm
Piper.
keeping an eye on you. You better be careful.
Oh my gosh. Piper, what you got from your
So, which one of you has wickedness in your heart?
right there out just right there with it. Which of you has wickedness in your heart?
Because you gotta be good.
I
don't know, maybe?
I mean, I wouldn't say it's wickedness, but like, sometimes things get boring and you gotta shake it up.
Okay, now that's not wickedness, that's just fun.
That's just mischievousness.
Okay, that's fine. I'm mischievous then. Oh, that's a really big word. I don't think I've said that one before.
My voice is going to kill me.
Oh, you're gonna hate it.
Your voice is going to kill us all. Who? So then, Luca or Lucius, do one of you have... Maybe the paladin secretly
Lucius.
has wickedness in his heart.
I don't think I have wickedness in my heart, but maybe in like the tech on my body, like excuse that, but it's not like the person inside.
You make an excellent point. Excellent point.
More ghosts in the machine, maybe?
The heart of the machine is wicked, but not me.
Machines don't have souls, or maybe they do. Maybe that's the blue ghost.
Oh, I'm dying. All of this. All of it. Every bit of it. Okay. Now, Lucius, the troll paladin, what's your question for the group?
My question, what is my question? Can I say two and like have you guys pick which one sounds best? Because I'm not sure.
What do you mean?
Either which of you knows my secret mission, or which of you am I watching closely?
Which one do you want to start with? We're going to come back around.
Oh, we're doing two?
You will do. We'll do until everybody's done. You will absolutely ask more than one question for sure.
Okay. Which of you am I watching closely?
Maybe it's me. I feel like I'm kind of a troublemaker, and I don't know. Chaos is kind of fun, don't you think?
Well, maybe just a little.
No. We need order.
No.
Most of the time, yeah, that works.
Shirsa says no.
Sometimes.
Shirsa is my giant Wolverine.
Cirsa.
Eat me.
Nettle and Cirsa.
Yeah, I feel like there's not much order you can inflict on a Wolverine other than the order to get them to stop attacking you.
No, I don't think you can even do that.
Oh no, it's fine.
He has
He
chased
totally
the
does.
tree at least twice.
All right, so we've settled that Lucius is keeping his eye on Nettle, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And I want to go back around. It's a real quick question before we go to the next set of questions that I had. I just want to make sure that I took these notes correctly. Nettle uses she/her pronouns. Is that right?
Yeah.
And Piper also uses she/her pronouns. Is that right?
Correct.
And Lucius uses he/him pronouns.
Sure.
It's okay. I'm not telling you. I'm just using based on your usage.
I was still deciding.
That's fair. If you let me know.
It could be they, them till you decide.
I do, but also I mess up a lot, and I don't want to.
I was only going based on what you said. You are completely free.
I'll just do he.
Okay. And Luca, you have he pronouns or he him pronouns or something else?
He, they.
He, they. Okay. Got it. And man, an elvish dragon beast. Yeah. What even are pronouns?
Who cares about pronouns? And
What is gender?
Yeah, like
Sometimes.
Gender's dead and so am I.
Yeah.
all right, let's go back around and do a second round of the questions. Are we starting with we're starting with Luca again, I think.
Okay. Still in the vein of school-ish. I don't really know that it's a school. It doesn't count. We don't have a building. Which of you is the subject of my studies? I swear it's harmless.
Oh no, is it me? Because I'm really tiny and pink. And I have antlers
You have
and hooves.
You have antlers and hooves.
maybe I'm trying to figure out why I'm the way I am, and I think maybe you have answers or could possibly help me find them.
Yeah, I'd love
Perfect.
to help you.
Perfect.
Unless you come from a tree, I think Nettle's a long shot. But okay.
I don't know if I came from
No,
a tree.
they're scared. Those scales are so pretty, though.
Thank you.
You're
Ooh.
welcome.
Nettle, what question that you have?
Which of you makes the most noise?
Me. I have a feeling out of the three that you were talking to, I probably make the most noise.
I always hear. It's true. I always hear you when you're coming.
It's not my fault that I carry lots of baskets and vials and such.
Yeah, it kind of sounds like a wind chime.
Wind chimes are nice. And we should
I
have
have one.
made portable
I have
sets.
one made out of bones hanging from my tree.
I'll take that as a compliment, even the bone comment.
Wait,
No, they're pretty.
what kind of bones?
Little animals, really tiny ones that I found. I collect them.
Okay.
I have a necklace that has like little
They're not
animal
like
bones,
people,
and
though, right?
there's a little bird head on my necklace.
Do you have any wind chimes made out of like old robot parts?
Is that what these metal things are?
Yes, that's it.
Interesting.
Can you teach me how to make those?
Yeah, I would love to.
Okay.
All right. Let's go now back to Piper. What's your second question?
My second question is, which of you want to know more about my goddess, whose name I will come up with eventually?
What are they the goddess of?
They are the god. Thank you for asking. They are the goddess of the downtrodden. We want to help people. I hear no answers, so I'm gonna take that as an answer.
I don't know what that means. They sound really lovely though.
Is the religion at all technology influenced or anything?
I mean, helping people. If you lose a limb, we could find out a way to supplement that limb with something technological.
Will it work as good as the old one?
Yes, we are very well practiced, and we supplement tech knowledge with magic because that exists.
That sounds really neat.
It's pretty cool. That's why I decided to become a healer.
Maybe that's me.
Would you like to know more? Okay.
Would you like to know more?
Yeah.
Let me tell you about my Lord and Savior, the goddess of the downtrodden. Okay, and back to Lucius.
Hi. My second question. Where's that? Okay. Which of you knows of my secret mission?
You have a secret mission?
Well, apparently it's not Piper then.
Yeah.
I don't think it's me. Well,
Yeah.
maybe. Oh, but. But do I?
I'm not even sure Lucius knows what his secret mission is.
You don't have to. Yeah, you don't have to define what that mission is right now. Just who knows about it.
Oh no.
Air conditioning, that would just be awful.
No. I just turned it off. It was loud. Now it's getting warm in here, but like it was cold earlier.
Have a good night.
You too. Bad.
It happens. It happens to all of us. Believe me, I got a dog and kids in the background. I know about that.
I just have
Who have you?
my wife's judgmental stares and texts.
I feel like this is something I might not have told you, but you could have like overheard, maybe.
So
You wouldn't come down near the forest, would you?
No, but
Unless
maybe,
you needed to have like a secret conversation.
or maybe, like you, like is the forest next to them? Next to my chapter?
It
Because
could be.
do you have very good hearing?
I mean, my ears are like this big. I would be really surprised if I didn't.
I feel like we've answered that. You may not know your secret mission, but she does.
Yeah.
It
Yes.
knows everything.
Yeah, it's the kind of thing where something could come up in play, and you're like, "This was my secret mission all along."
Yeah.
Yeah, that's normally how that will work.
It's part of my sacred order. Like it's part of like they're right. You have a secret mission. It's secret, but
You'll know it when you.
you're, you're yeah,
You'll
yeah,
know
yeah,
it when it
yeah, yeah,
happens.
Fair.
exactly.
Do y'all have third questions? Do you want to go into a third question?
Yeah.
Okay, Forda. Forda's got one right now. Sorry, not Forda. Luca. I got to do better.
So, this one's probably an easy one. Which do you think I'm a liability?
The paladin's the liability.
The paladin thinks that the bard is the liability,
Oh.
which sounds about right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that sounds right. Okay, I misheard the question.
You are a puny academic. You are not strong and muscular and
I'm quick
mechanical.
though. At running the other way.
I
Whew.
believe in the good of everyone, and I'm sure there's some good in you, even though the answer to the wickedness in your heart question was a little vague. We're all good people.
Nettle, do you have a third question?
Don't know.
If you don't, that's fine. If you're done with answering or asking your questions.
Yeah, I don't think I have another one.
Okay, how about Piper?
I mean, I was going to ask this question, but I feel like with this group of people, I'll ask it anyways. But I think we're okay. Which of you is a better soul than you let on? You guys are all good souls in my eyes. Until you do something wrong, then you're not. You've got wickedness in your heart.
Wait, probably not me, actually. I'm a scaredy cat, but I'm not a bad person. I think.
I think that did answer that question, actually. That sounds like the definition of this is a better soul than they let on.
Yeah.
I think Lucius might also be. They're very strict. They are much softer than they try to let on.
But I feel like Lucius is also very straight to the point.
Yes, but it's like
Luca's gentle.
they're honest in the way that you need to be honest sometimes. Like it's not the easy decision, but the right one, sort of thing.
Speaking of which, Lucius, do you have a third question you want to ask?
Not really. I think the other two don't really. I don't feel like really apply.
Okay, Luca, you got any more?
I mean, I can ask it, but I don't know that it would work. The ones listed is which of you is an old drinking pal, but Luca doesn't really drink. So it'd be more of a which of you is a socializing buddy, I guess.
Sure.
I would just like to say that I love myself a good cold beer. I was gonna say something else.
I thought you were going to say a nice cold milk.
No. I'm tiny, but I have a very thirsty appetite for liquor or mead. Mead.
Mead.
I like mead.
Maybe I bribe you with beer to get you to talk about your order.
You don't need to bribe me to get me to talk to you about
I
my
don't know how to talk to people, okay?
I will talk to you. Don't worry. Don't you worry.
But they buy you a beer anyway.
I will buy you a beer. I will buy you a mead.
I make this really interesting tea out of tree sap.
Is it sweet?
It is. It tastes really good. I'll have to make some for you sometime.
Okay.
Nettle, do you have a third question? Or another fourth question? Or whatever
No.
question. I'm sorry, I meant Piper.
I'm good.
Okay. So I have one more question.
I love questions.
What concerns people in iCall if this ghost that has been seen for generations and generations... So this ghost was seen every 96 days without fail for generations. About every 3 months, right? But it's exactly 96 days this ghost is seen in the woods. No one has seen it in some time. what do people fear has happened?
I feel like if there was some kind of signal that we might be afraid that something more powerful and more dangerous has disrupted that signal.
It's a sad thing, but it may have finally moved on or died if it was a ghost.
Well, it's kind of weird because the trees talk to me, but they don't know what happened either. But they said it's a really bad thing. So I'm kind of scared.
Now I'm
Again.
scared.
Again, there is no ghost. There is no reason to be scared. There was never a ghost to begin with. Everybody was just having a mass hallucination.
But it's been for decades, maybe centuries. People have seen this ghost every 96 days. It's just
What ghost?
all
The
right.
trees,
I don't.
the trees never forget. They always know.
Sometimes I forget, but I definitely feel like the ghost is, or the signal is real. I'm still thinking it's some kind of weird technological glitch.
Well, what we're going to do is we're going to take a quick break right now, 5-10 minutes. People can stretch their legs, get a drink if they want, whatever, whatever we need to do. And when we come back, you'll be entering the vault. So, good times, good times. All right, we'll be right back, folks. And we're back. We even have a kitty cat. Hello, Noki. Gnocchi. All right. So, let us kind of set this initial scene. The four of you, five, I guess, including Sursa, have made your way out of the village to... There's this small hill that has a little kind of crack in the side. People know this is where you typically see this bluish ghost. And to get through there, it's just covered in greenery and leaves and vegetation. It's a very thick part of the forest right here as you're coming through. Who's leading the way on the way out to this? Who led the way out to this dungeon? To this vault, rather. You think the forester? It was the forester? Yeah, no, that's good. Hey, Nettle, what kinds of dangers did you have to watch out for in the forest and help them get around on your way out to this vault?
You're muted.
You're muted.
Oh, we didn't hear it, Nettle.
There is these I haven't really figured out what they are, but they kind of look like they're these like balls, but they're made out of metal, and they vroom, 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 and they roll around, and if they spin, they have like these claw things that come out, and I had to protect everyone from those. And there's like these tiny little bees, but they're not bees. They're like...
They make buzzing noises, but they're not bees.
Are they machines?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's what they're called. They don't look natural. And then, of course, you have like all the natural stuff that we have to watch out for. But we have Saoirse, so we're totally fine.
As long as we don't walk through any poison ivy, because I am...
Yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah.
Don't worry, I can just step on the poison ivy. Because
watch out for the thistle too.
My legs are entirely metal. Not really, but like they're like pretty covered in metal. I could just step on them.
Ting ting ting.
Yeah.
Ting ting ting.
So as
I probably do that every time I walk past you.
I was gonna say, how tall is Lucius?
Is the elf like is Luca like taller than average human?
Yes, Luca is easily 6 feet.
Okay, I think Lucius might be 8.5 feet.
Sounds good.
Come
Yeah.
up to his knees. Got it.
Nettle is 2'5".
Yeah, they're big. They're very big.
Our bodies are the length of his foot.
I also have
I knock on your ankle, I guess.
Yeah. I also have a very big bushy tail.
I have a little like pom-pom. I have like a fawn tail.
Mine is like bushy on the top and like very bushy at the very end. Sort of like a lion's tail.
So,
okay.
as you get to this kind of crack in the side of the hill, in the rocky side, where you kind of pushed aside some of the foliage, who of you is kind of looking in there into the darkness?
Oh, me for sure.
Yeah. Tell me about how you're what is it that you're doing to figure out what's inside there? Tell me about how you're what you're doing.
I definitely am going to pop my head in, or oh, and I'm going to look around. I want to cast light.
Okay. So we're going to start off with casting a spell. So let's do that move. Let's roll plus whiz.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
And you picked your starting spells, right?
I did, yes.
Okay.
Light was one of them.
Sure. Oh, I assume so, yeah. So
is
2d6 plus your wisdom modifier.
That is a 7, plus 2 is a 9, On a 7 to 9, I cast it. I have to pick one. Ooh. I'm gonna do this. I draw unwanted attention or put myself in a spot. You will tell me how.
Oh, put in a spot is always my favorite thing. Okay, so you're kind of like pushing aside some of these leaves, and Nettle's watching you because Nettle's the expert in the forest. But you just gone ahead like, no. This is now. Now we're not going to be in the forest. We're going to be in the vault. So you're looking in there, and it's a very thin entrance, right? And you can see that it opens up into some other kind of hallway in there. It's hard to see. It's hard to make out because it's very dark, and you've cast light. And as you're casting light, and this light is shining in there, you hear a voice from inside, almost a machine-like voice that all of a sudden echoes very loudly out of there. And it says, "Warning, foreign biological specimen detected. Warning, alert drones." And you hear beep 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 beep, and you hear some sounds inside. What do you do?
I'm gonna pop my head back out, and I'm going to look at the group and go, so there might have been a biological scanner or alert system, and I might have triggered it. Whoops! But listen, it wasn't my fault.
What? What is a trap? Did you trigger a trap?
I triggered a trap.
Oh, okay, that makes a lot more sense than whatever you said. Why didn't you just say trap?
Well, because it's a little more specific than a trap, but it's a trap, and there are drones coming. Drones are robots that are sent out to attack things, like bees. I say this to Nettle.
Is that what they are?
But not like the bees you showed us. Like bigger. Sometimes more dangerous.
Bigger? Oh no, I don't like that at all.
So you can see kind of hovering inside of there. They're bigger than bees. They're like the size of maybe birds. They're mostly round. Some of them have kind of small protrusions, metallic protrusions coming out of them. And you can just kind of hear them like scanning, and you hear meep 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 meep. And they're kind of waiting inside. And after a moment, they seem to disperse. What do you do?
Oh, that sounds bad. That looked bad.
Hey, Saoirse, do you want to sneak up on that one and just, I don't know, claw it or something? What do you think? Do you think so? I don't know. I think you could take it. Why won't you just do it? Just go do it.
I want to send Saoirse after one of them.
Does your Wolverine actually talk to you, or are you just talking at it?
No, we talk to each other. Can you not hear her?
That's super cool. No, I can't.
Oh, I thought everyone could hear Saoirse.
No, not everyone can talk to me.
I can hear them fine. They are not speaking words.
While this is happening, I'm going to grab a bunch of like leaves and twigs and like a rock if I can, and like hold them over my head and try to make myself as small as possible.
Oh, that's so good.
So Saoirse's walking, and as I walk by, I pluck a flower and I put it in Luca's hair, and I keep following Saoirse so she can go attack the thing.
Yeah, have them. Can you have them roll plus fierce? 2d6 plus their fierce is plus 2. Wow. Well, of course they're a Wolverine. Of course they'd be very fierce.
That's a 4 and a 3, plus 2.
Which
Like
is?
9. That's
9.
Math. 7. That's a 9.
Right. Yep. So you kind of sneak in there, and you see your Wolverine just pounce on one of these little drones. They're just about this big. They're not very large at all, and is tearing it apart. And as Saoirse does that, you hear off in the distance a giant sucking sound from inside the vault. But it's...
Oh, I don't like that at all. That's not natural.
That was a giant sucking sound.
Giant sucking sound, see?
Did it sound... Was it wet?
Yes, it was wet. It was moist.
Please don't use that word.
That's exactly why I used that word.
I don't think that was the machine that made that noise. I hope it wasn't.
So,
Is the drone that Saoirse took, is it like...
oh yeah, it's
like,
just in pieces. It's scattered apart. So in the room where you are,
I want to take a couple of the smaller pieces. I want to hook them on my necklace.
oh yeah, you could get a both of those. There's just little pieces of you don't know what they are. They're gears and stuff, right? Circuit boards broken apart. The room where you are,
strings that go back and forth between my antlers, so I'm like dangling them from my antlers.
that's good to know. You've got little pieces of metal there. All right.
Are we inside the vault at this?
So
time?
if you go inside this kind of crack, this entryway, you can see there's sort of an curved hallway, right? Like you're coming in to the outside of the curve. It curves around to your left and right, and also to your left, there's a lot more rubble inside. Like part of the walls and ceiling have caved in. It looks like it was done a very long time ago. The floor, right, the ground is this very smooth, white, chalky, very hard substance, although there's dirt and dust on it. And also directly in front of you is a metallic door. So it's kind of clear to your right on the curved hallway. There's rubble to your left in the curved hallway, or there's this metallic door right across from you as you're kind of coming in to the side of on the side of the hallway.
I think we need to go to the door. Doors lead in. Let's go in.
I agree with Piper. We should just follow Piper.
So who's going up to the door? Sounds like Piper, right?
I guess Piper is.
I'll go up to the door with them.
Okay, all right.
I think my video stopped again.
It did.
Yeah. I'm just gonna wait it out.
All right, whatever you want to do.
At least it's not an awkward face.
Yeah.
It's pretty neutral.
It's very thoughtful facing. I think that Jimmy just makes a lot of very thoughtful faces. I think that's what happens. So, as you get to this door, you can see a couple of glowing lights on the door itself. What do you do?
I want to put my hand on the door and just sort of like brush my hand down it, and I want to say a quick prayer while I'm like studying this thing. And I have the move Eyes Unclouded. When you pray for guidance, even for a moment, you can ask the GM what here is evil and get an honest answer.
Okay. That's right. Yeah, that's one of your things there. Where you are, you see nothing evil. That sucking sounded pretty evil, though.
Okay.
But the door, nothing that you see here, and the sucking sound sounded like it came, it echoed through that curved hallway, maybe off to your right someplace, in that kind of towards that open direction. Yeah, you don't see it. Your god indicates nothing evil here.
Also, I want to say, because I think this is something you should know, the oaths I took for the paladin.
That what?
Notes. The oaths.
Oh yes, the oaths. Yes. Yeah. What are your oaths?
I took I will not deceive others. I will not flee or deny a call to battle, and I shall never refuse a superior's orders.
You said not cheat.
I will not flee, and I will never refuse a superior's orders.
Okay.
Is my voice coming out?
Yep.
Okay?
Yep.
Okay.
Perfectly fine. Okay. So this door here, what do you do?
Is there any indication of how to open it?
Yeah, there's a small panel to the side that has a sort of indentation and above it a red light.
I try to open it from there.
Yeah, you press that button.
Yeah.
Door slides to the side, and inside, you are kind of looking along. On your right side, there's a wall that opens up to your left, and it curves. Your left-hand side kind of curves around. It's almost like a triangle, but the side to your left is curved. And in this room, you see some more rubble like you saw in the hallway, but two other things catch your eye. You see several large lit up rectangles on the walls that have different moving images and writing and lines going, and then floating in the center of the room is a long pole that comes up about 5 feet, and at the top of that pole there's a sphere with a receptacle in it and several lights flashing around that.
I start to pull out my bow and my arrow, and I'm looking at it.
No, don't shoot it. Don't do that. Don't do that.
I start taking out my crossbow and bolts and start.
Wait. Let me. Can I? I'm just gonna take a look at it, and I'm gonna.
Don't shoot it, Nettle.
Oh, but I want to so bad. I want to know what it
This
does.
thing, does it react at all to my approach?
Are you just walking up to it? Are you touching it? Are you just kind of looking around it?
I'm starting out just kind of looking around, just moving around it if I can, and maybe under it even if I can do that.
Yeah, because it's basically, think of it kind of like this, right? It's got this metal pole sphere at the top, only unlike a microphone, it's got like a receptacle in it and the lights flashing around it. It doesn't seem to react when you just kind of move around it, no.
Do the lights have any words on them, or are they just lights or symbols? Do you think symbols?
Not on that receptacle. On those lit up rectangles, there is what looks like writing, but it's not writing that you recognize. It's not in any script that you know.
If there are any lights around me, I'm touching them.
Ooh. Can you roll me a d6?
Yeah. Oh no, that's not good at all.
What's that?
The one.
As soon as you do that, the device that Luca was inspecting kind of swivels around, and that receptacle starts flashing. The lights are going to start flashing, and you hear that same voice from earlier say, "Instruction: please introduce biological sample now."
Biological
Take a
what?
leaf off of my head. I'm going to introduce that.
What off of your head?
Yes.
What was it off of your
I
head?
didn't take the bush off.
A leaf?
Okay,
A leaf.
all right. As soon as you do that, like a door closes on that sphere, and it says, you hear the voice saying, processing, report available now in section 2.
What?
Where is section 2?
What section is this?
That's a better question.
Does the thing have any kind of port to it? Like a USB or something to access this article or something like that?
No, that's fantastic, and I love that you. Seriously, I'm not even being sarcastic. I love that you asked that way. Yeah, there's some sort of small port on the back. It's not it doesn't seem to follow any of the tech standards that you're familiar with.
Oh, I was because I was thinking it would be kind of funny. I have like when you leverage your order's reputation, and I have holy relics.
So a relic is a different thing, right? Gain advantage to parley.
Which I feel like, considering I tried to get information out of this, might actually work.
But I want to say that the parley will require an NPC, and I don't think you found an NPC yet.
Okay. Could I? Is Spout Lore one of the moves still?
Yeah. Spout. What do you want to? So, when Spout Lore, like always, and again, fiction first. What is it you're trying to see if you know about?
What it said like something about did it say article 2 or something? What was the word?
Section.
Section 2. I want to know like what it's referring to.
All right. So yeah, roll.
Are you sure it's one of the basic moves?
Spout Lore. It's one of the basic. It's the very last basic move. Spout Lore.
Oh, there it is. Okay. 2d6 plus 1. Okay. I got a 4 and a 2. That's a 6 plus 1. That's a 7. Okay.
Something interesting. It's on you to make it useful. All right. When it said that, one of those displays, what we would know as displays, right, changed its flashing patterns, and now, so you see what looks to be, think of a circle sectioned into 6 parts.
Yeah.
Right, and alternating parts are dark and light. Right, so the parts right here are dark, and here at the bottom, and then the parts in between those, like a Trivial Pursuit pie or something like that, rotated. Yeah. The part that's directly up started flashing green.
Okay. Is this something I knew beforehand, or?
No, I think you would. So in your case, you recognize this symbol as looking very much like what we would think of as the radiation symbol.
Ah, okay. And
you know that has some meaning for you.
Yeah, I think I don't think I know what radiation is exactly, but I do think I know that in my chapter or in my little monastery area, there were like rooms we were not allowed to go to, and they had like little windows that we can look into them. I've seen that symbol on those like little things in there, so I know it's not a good thing.
Okay.
So yeah,
I dig it. I definitely dig that. So as you're doing this, that same symbol starts flashing, and then the center area of what would be the radiation symbol starts flashing red. And it's
everybody.
And it says, and you hear the voice say, "Notification: Hollow Golem requires maintenance. Hollow Golem requires maintenance." And the very center is flashing red.
Stand
I'm
back.
fascinated with the flashy lights.
I heard
Divine maintenance. What does it need?
Don't touch.
Okay. Well, I guess we're going to touch it.
So I told you came in on kind of along the right wall, right? Mm-hmm. And you have this open area to your left.
Oh.
On the other far wall, like if it's a triangle, right? Although the apex is kind of curved and the base is kind of curved, at the other end of that base, the triangle, at the other straight part, is another door.
Okay.
Well.
Should we?
I feel like while Lucius was fiddling with the display, we might have been staring, but I would have been wandering and gone towards the door and opened it.
Zzz, and you see that same kind of curved hallway, but now it continues to curve around. You're kind of coming from the inside of the circle, however, and it curves around to your right and back, or around to your left, back towards that rubble that you saw earlier.
What's the visibility? Is it dark? Because I still have my lights.
You have light. It's in the hallway. It is flashing a very deep red light. In the room where you are, it's just lit by those displays.
Okay. Does the hallway look damp?
It does not.
Okay. Guys?
So what do you do?
I'm gonna go down this hallway. Bye.
So
Wait for me.
it curves around, and you get to what you think is about a sixth of the circle, and there's another door to your right.
Is there a panel? Because I want to stand on Saoirse and like try to open it.
Yeah, there's a panel just like the other one, and yep. Zzz, this time inside, you're looking kind of down the right wall of the, along your right hand as you go in is the wall. But along the walls are these large glass cylinders, tubes, that have like a mist or a fog inside of them. And some of them also have some kind of creatures kind of just suspended in the fog.
Wow.
And then straight ahead of you, kind of to where the room converges, are two double translucent doors.
Luca followed them.
And inside those double translucent doors, it's flashing red.
I want to. Are the tubes with the suspended creatures kind of like covered in condensation, or are they dusty? Because I want to know. I want to wipe or look into one.
Yeah, they're not particularly dusty, but you can kind of there's a little bit of condensation. You kind of wipe it off, and inside one of them. Oh, yeah. So you see what looks like just a mass of flesh and bone, almost not well formed, right? But like it's warped somehow, and the flesh is kind of occasionally pulsating, and the bone sticks almost right out of it.
Oh no!
Maybe they need help.
Maybe not. They just need time to incubate. I'm gonna go to the flashing red one.
All right, so those double doors that are kind of towards the apex of the room, right? Probably back towards the center of this kind of circular thing. Those doors don't immediately open. There's no obvious panel right there. What do you do?
I vaguely remember hearing songs where, like, some of these doors need, like, the right words or a song. So, I'm gonna try and think of what maybe might get it to open. Let's see.
Beep boop beep. Beep beep boop beep beep.
Maybe talking
Your
like
open door song.
the flying
I
guy.
don't know.
With
Are you, so it sounds so. What song have you heard of, Luca, that is relevant here? Tell me of the song or poem or tale.
So it's a song that goes, "If you see the red light, run for your life." But there's a section that says the way is shut, but the words show the way, and I don't remember the words.
All right.
to that.
So you have advantage. So roll 3d6. Take your 2 highest. This is advantage in Homebrew World, right? Roll 3 6-sided dice. Take the highest and add your intelligence modifier because you have a move called Bardic Lore. So when you name a song, poem, or tale that tells of the topic at hand, gain advantage to spout lore.
All right, so I've got 14.
Wow. Yes. So
Whoa.
as soon as you say "show the way," there's that same voice echoes around you that says, "Maintenance requires mechanical access. Please open the doors." Mechanical access is required to open the doors.
Mechanical access.
So
I wanna take one of
touch
the-
door and try to pull on it.
Yeah, so you kind of pull and you push. It takes you a few minutes. Roll me a d6.
I want to help.
Please.
I want to help. Can I help? I'm strong.
I'm not strong, so I will need all the help I can get.
Nettle.
There we go.
Okay. Yeah, this is basically just sort of like a luck roll, kind of. So what did you get, Luca?
2.
2. All right. You're pushing, forcing, and it's not until Nettle kind of comes up and kind of helps, and you both put your fingers into the division between the double doors that after a second, zzz, it slides open. And inside, you see what is probably the blue ghost. But what it really is, what you see, is sort of something that resembles a silver metallic skeleton. And around that skeleton is a ghostly projected form of a blue bear.
Am I with them? Am I like?
Yeah, I assume.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh,
Would you look at that?
does it hurt?
Then there are several cabinets with drawers and doors and so forth around it. What do you do?
Gonna walk up to the ghost bear.
Okay.
That isn't a ghost.
I'm stepping in and looking around the area and like seeing what everything is.
So why don't you give me a discern realities roll? So 2d6 plus wisdom.
Whiz. Okay, and my whiz is -1. 6, 5.
5.
Out of 5.
So mark XP. Yay, XP.
Yay, the first XP of the session.
See, that's how. And as you're doing that, that sucking sound that I heard, that I mentioned earlier, sorry, that you heard, suddenly happens again. And it's very loud behind you. And you turn around. Do you remember how I mentioned earlier there was this kind of pulsating mass of flesh and bone inside one of those tubes? There's something that looks similar, but much, much larger. Probably, actually, and yes, keep in mind what you said, about Lucius's size. And it has 5 legs, tentacles coming out of it, what looks like a spine that has come out of the side of the top and is flailing around. What do you all do?
Can I?
Hide.
Can I
Behind flesh. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. I want to defend, I guess. I'm
Okay.
close to the door, I think. I think I'm like just using my big body to try and like block.
No, that's good. That's good. So you're taking up a defensive stance. So roll plus con.
No, I have Divine Grace.
Even
So
better.
defend, roll plus Charisma instead.
Nice.
And I get extra choices also.
Excellent.
So let's
Awesome.
5 plus 4. That's 9, 10, 11.
Oh wow! So you've got
Yeah.
you hold 3 readiness, which you can spend either on the choices in the so you can either you can spend that readiness 1 for 1 to either suffer the attack's damage, have an attack's damage or effects on somebody else, draw all attention to yourself, strike back at an attacker, and then you have 2 additional.
Yes. I can blaze with righteousness, making all demons and undead recoil from your presence. Or I can steadfast, holding your position despite what befalls you.
Okay, so it hasn't attacked. Are you doing any of these things at the moment, or are you waiting to see what it does?
Do I have a ward?
A ward is who you're protecting, so it's the other 3.
I'm gonna draw all attention from the ward to myself.
Okay. So this thing, I hesitate to even call it a creature, truly. This very unnatural thing. And as you look at it, its skin is shifting between skin and organs and utter blackness and different things. And sure enough, well, first of all, it sounded like Luca was doing something.
Yeah.
I'm hiding underneath the, I guess what's called the hollow golem. And as I do so, I'm going to, like, scream this awful note, but what's really happening is I'm casting something, and, like, in the moves, it's called cacophony.
Okay.
But I'm just gonna scream.
So, okay. So, when you're going to perform an arcane working, so is it, you can name anyone you wish to exempt from the effect of cacophony. Are you exempting your friends?
Yes.
Okay. So, roll plus charisma.
They
So
want to be affected.
probably not. So roll plus, so 2d6 plus your charisma modifier. Okay, so based on that, it works, but the GM picks 1. All right, so as you play this discordant note that's loud and echoes through the hallways, ka-chung! The terrible aberration in front of you, you see it kind of flinch and stagger backwards. But all of your friends also drop everything that's in their hands and cover their ears because it's so loud and it's they're like, ah! It's like when we had that when you get that feedback on a mic, and this thing staggers backwards though away from you. What do you all do?
I wanna grab my bow and my quiver, and I want to panic and take a shot at it.
All right, so that's volley unless you have something special as a ranger. So that's going to be.
Did we take damage from the cacophony?
No, you don't take damage. You just drop your stuff. So Nettle is scrambling to pick up her bow. While Nettle is scrambling to pick up the bow, what are the other 2 of you doing?
I want to, while I'm covering my ears, I just want to, like, feel for my whole symbol of my goddess.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to hold it up. I'm going to use rebuke.
Okay, so while you're fumbling to find it because you had dropped whatever was in there, so that's what you're going to do. What is Lucius doing?
I think they're trying to open a compartment on their, I think it's like shoulder blade, where they keep a weapon.
Okay.
Probably.
So they're trying to find that in there. Okay, so we're going to resolve these in order then. So first of all, Nettle, can you give me your 2d6 plus dex for your volley?
2d6. Oh, I think the dex is my highest one. I wrote it down. So that's 7 plus 2. That's 9.
All right. So you're going to roll your damage dice in a second, but first you can choose You either have to move to get the shot and place yourself in danger. You can take what you get, deal damage with disadvantage, or you deplete your ammunition. Mark the next status next to your weapon or ammo.
I'll move into danger.
Okay, so you're like taking this shot, but because it's kind of staggered backwards, it kind of went around the corner a little bit, and so you kind of skittered around the corner to take your shot, but now you're within reach of its tentacles and spine whip. So yeah, roll your damage die, which for you is a D8.
That's a 7.
Whew! That is a very good shot. Let me see how much it has. All right. Yeah, you see your arrow just pierce through into its writhing, unnatural flesh. The Piper, you said you were casting Rebuke?
Yes, I want to at least keep it from like fully entering the room, and also in case there are any other.
So you want it to be okay. So yeah, you're gonna cast your spell. So roll plus whiz.
9, 10, 11.
Oh yeah. So, what does it look like? What is your first of all? What does your holy symbol look like?
So my holy symbol, I think, is it's all about nature. It's a woman. She's very angular, and she has her arms raised up. And at one point, her arms, which look very angular, morph into more organic shapes, and that forms a tree.
And as you hold, what happens to rebuke anathema when you do that?
It starts to glow there's like lines in it, kind of like LED lights that start to glow, and it forms a very subtle bubble around our group, and as that bubble expands, whatever is causing this light is pushing this creature a little further away, but I don't know if it's going to. I doubt it's weak or craven, so it's not going to flee outright. It's kind of held at bay.
Right. Okay, so you see it trying to move forward, and every time you do, that bubble kind of pulses back towards it. Your bubble of holy energy pulses back towards it. It's held at bay for a moment. Now, yeah. Lucius, you pulled out your weapon, so tell us what you're doing.
Yeah, I take this opportunity while it's being held back, and I pull out a sort of it's a polearm, but it's sort of like one that can be made smaller, like folded into itself, sort of thing.
Right, and like a telescoping pike or something.
Yeah, well, more like kind of like I'm thinking like something that bends.
Okay.
Like it comes out like 3 different rods next to each other, and they kind of like form into a full.
Okay, I got you.
Polearm.
Yep.
And he takes that out of his shoulder blade, and he is going to. Is this a thing of supernatural evil?
I will tell you in this case, yes, it is. Oh, yes. This is not like fighting a lion, right?
Yeah.
This is something spawned from chaos itself.
Mm-hmm. Then I am going to I'm going to smite it. I am going to strike a thing of supernatural evil. I am just going to like rush it with my polearm, trying to make space. And I think, how long does the bubble last?
Until I ran, like as long as I.
Yeah, as long as you hold it up, or until something else could happen. I mean, so that's one of the things where at some point I could make a GM move if somebody rolls a 6-, for example. So let's see how. Why don't you roll plus strength and let's see what happens.
Okay.
Don't like that.
A 4.
Oh no.
So mark
Uh,
XP.
Yeah.
And as you're rushing forward, something happens as you pass through that bubble, and Piper, it kind of flickers as his cybernetics reach kind of the natural protection, and there's like this interference pattern, and it flickers out. And yeah, so as that happens, it's so distracting that Lucius, you miss the thing.
Oh no.
Full drag.
Luca
No.
or Nettle, what are you two doing? Either one of you.
Crying in a corner.
What did your what?
When I see Luca hiding under the thing, I'm gonna be like, Saoirse, go protect it. Go protect them and make sure nothing happens to them, okay? Okay. No, I said go over there. No, you're going in the wrong direction. Go over there. And Saoirse will run over and take a stance in front of Luca.
Oh, right. Very good. Can you have them roll just plus loyal, which is in your case is just +0.
+0 loyal. Oh no. Is that 1d6?
2d6. There's just for you, it's just straight 2d6.
Oh wow, that's really bad, huh?
That's what?
That's a 2.
That's a 2. Okay, so mark XP. So
It's dead.
Circe is not interested in protecting Luca. Instead, Circe leaps forward, and just as they do,
Saoirse, what are you doing?
it's trying to protect Luca by attacking the Chaos Spawn, and leaps forward, but the Chaos Spawn reaches out with that spine whip and slashes it, and
Oh my god!
and instead Circe takes one damage.
Oh.
But you see, but it's not just a physical damage. For a moment, where that spine whip slices it, you see Circe's existence, or that part of their flesh, flicker in the same way that the flickering flesh is within that aberration. What do you all do?
I want to take another shot. I'm
Okay.
angry. I'm
All right.
super
Yeah.
angry.
Yeah. Absolutely. Roll your volley.
Uh,
2d6 plus dex.
3d6 plus dex.
2d6 plus dex.
2d6 plus dex. I can do math. I'm really good at it and stuff. Huh. Oh, that's a lot better. Okay. That's a 9, 10, 11. That's
Oh
an
yeah.
11.
No. Deal your roll your damage dice.
Huh. That's a 6.
Your shot finds whatever passes for a head on this thing, and just as it passes through, its head just... And the thing doesn't just topple over. It melts. The whole flesh, bone, organ, skin just melts into a puddle of black ichor on the ground.
That's what you get for touching Saoirse.
Ew.
Saoirse is going to be okay, but is kind of limping a little bit. So what do you do?
I want to walk over to Saoirse and I want to take one of the wraps off my arms and I want to be like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. You weren't supposed to do that. You were supposed to stand in front of him.
I'm gonna do one better, and I'm gonna go over to Saoirse and cast Cure Wounds.
All right. Yes.
I'm gonna attempt to.
Right.
I'm sorry.
Oh, not 11 again.
Oh, yeah. Cure wounds. So they're going to regain 5 hit points. They'd only taken 1 damage. So
I
you
also have
see
advantage. Good to
that flickering chaos, that flickering rip in reality in their side suddenly knit itself back together as the healing energy from your holy symbol kind of scans down it. Back in that room where the hollow golem is, what do you do?
Well, now that that thing is gone, I'm gonna go back to looking at it because that's what I hid under.
Ha! So why don't you give me a discern realities roll? That's 2d6 plus wisdom.
Alrighty, give me one moment. Eight.
8. Okay, so if you look at the basic moves, there are 3 questions. You can ask one of those questions.
Yeah, that's right. Let's see. Okay, so what happened here in regards to the golem?
Right. So the thing is that this golem, you see that it has, like I said, it's an endoskeleton, right? It's a skeleton like we would have. And so, but it's kind of hanging oddly. And you see that the left arm, where it's connected to the shoulder assembly, is somewhat disconnected, like maybe it got damaged somehow. And so because of that, the blue light field shape hologram around it is not, it's kind of like what we would think of as like a glitch, right? Like the polygons aren't right. But it looks like it took some damage, and that may be the maintenance that the system was referring to. And then there's these, as I mentioned, there's these other kind of cabinets and drawers here in the room around you. What do you do?
Does it need help? Does it need assistance?
Yeah, we need to fix it, I think.
We can fix it?
From the damage to it, I'm gonna see if I can't find something that'll, like, put it back together. The arms, such. So I'm gonna start rifling through drawers and stuff.
Oh, I'm so glad that you're doing that. So, go back to that document. First of all, can you roll me a D? Oh, actually, I'll do it. Do you have a D100, or I'll roll it here if not?
I do not.
That's fine. No worries. So, you're going through it, and most of it looks pretty useless. One of the things that you find is you find a bronze gauntlet. And it has all these slots in the gauntlet. And you pick it up and you kind of mess with it. And you realize any object you press into those slots gets violently expelled back out from this bronze gauntlet. But eventually you do find a set of tools that... So you are a scholar of the Collegium, whatever that means for you. And in fact, I think you have something because of your background. Yeah. So let's say that you probably, between the tools that are there and the supplies that you have, you have what you need. You have just what you need to put this hollow golem back together.
Nice.
So, I'm going to say that you're just able to do it based on your background and that you have what you need. So mark on your gear, right? Mark, what off of one of the undefined and mark that to you've got 3 uses of supplies. So we'll say you marked 1 use of your supplies. And as you're doing that, after a moment of kind of fiddling with it, the hollow golem kind of the polygons of the hologram kind of suddenly resolve back into place, and the shape of the blue bear suddenly flickers out and comes back. This time as like an angel, right? It's like a humanoid figure with these wings behind it, and the voice says, "Confirmation. Hologolem functionality restored."
Oh, good. I'm happy.
You also find in these, as the rest of you are probably looking around, you find this smoky orb. And you can all hear coming from it these strange whispers.
looks like it.
Somebody picked up what that was. That's not really what it was. I just wanted to do.
That's awesome.
And I will just tell you
That's what I hear.
I'll tell you, it's what's called a Farsight stone.
We need it. We need it.
So,
Okay.
and I'll give you the details on it later because I know. Let's see, Luca, you need to wrap up here in a few minutes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So let's go ahead and wrap this up then for this evening. We have a little bit of housekeeping to do here at the.
Can I say one thing before?
Absolutely, yes, please do.
I was like unsure when to like say this. When the monster thing, the chaos spawn thing, melted, I think Lucius took like opened their finger a little bit and took a sample of it.
Okay. Yeah.
Take back to the monastery.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's do this. So 2 questions.
Mm-hmm.
Are you planning to rest here, or do you want to head back to the village? Do you want to rest here to explore some more next time, or do you want to head back to the village?
I mean, I don't know if we have to head back to the village, but I think we should maybe not stay in here because there's probably more of those.
Yeah, but there's
Maybe.
this angel hollow golem here, and that's pretty cool.
What's an angel?
This thingy with the wings.
The wing.
What's an angel?
A bird person.
A
Okay,
bird person.
got it.
Person.
Bird person. I don't know. Saoirse, what do you think? No, I don't think it's safe in here at all. You almost got hurt. You don't have the right to say anything.
All right. So maybe you want to kind of camp outside the vault a little bit.
Yeah,
That's Nettle's vote. She'll do whatever.
Okay. So somebody expend 1 use of supplies to make camp.
I have the.
You have a thing about making camp? I wouldn't be surprised.
The party doesn't need to expend supplies. One member of the party can make an extra choice after getting a few hours sleep. When you forage while the party makes camp, roll plus whiz on roll a wisdom.
Okay, so you need to roll plus wisdom to
That's
see what your
2d6.
2d6 plus wisdom, and then we're going to ask some questions, and then we're going to wrap it up.
Okay. Okay, that's just a straight roll. That's a 5.
Plus whiz.
That's a 5.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I have a plus 0 wisdom.
fun times. So I'm going to hold on to. There's a GM move that I get to make, and I'm going to make that when we start the next session. So in the meantime, you're making. So somebody mark off 1 supplies.
I'll mark off one.
Okay, all right. And then we're going to do the questions from Make Camp. So everybody try to give an example of how you met your drives requirement. If you can mark XP. So we're going to go around, starting with Jimmy. With Lucius.
My drive was suffer hardship so that another doesn't have to. I'm not sure if I did that.
I think you did. You jumped right in front of that chaos spawn.
You
Okay,
didn't
sure.
get the chance to, but you made a valid attempt.
Yeah. No, you did the. You stood there. You're like, no, you will focus on me, until Nettle jumped out in front. But that was a different thing. Okay, so mark XP. How about Piper? What's your drive?
So my drive is orthodoxy to cause trouble for myself or others by adhering strictly to my doctrine, which I think is to help people, to alleviate the suffering of people. And I thought that we were following an SOS signal. So
All right.
I jumped right in because I thought someone might need help.
Sweet, mark XP. It's really up to you if you think that you met it for your character. Nettle, what was your drive?
My drive is wonder and to show people pretty things and places. And I kind of like to think that while we were walking to the cave, I was pointing out all my favorite hiding spots.
Okay.
And some of the trees have like these really cool they like glow, but I don't know why because like it's not natural and stuff, and it's like my favorite place to hide.
You like to hide in the glowing trees. Duly noted.
Mhm.
All right. So, and then Luca, what about your drive?
My drive is wisdom, so if an NPC acts on my honest advice, it's good. I feel good about it. But we didn't really meet anyone new.
I don't. Yeah, I don't think. I think that'll probably happen in the future. But yeah, I think that's. Yeah, I don't think that happened this time. All right. Next question, for each of you, describe how your opinion of or relationship with another character changed. And if everyone agrees, you can mark XP. So let's go back around. Lucius, did your opinion or relationship change with any of the others?
I at first viewed Nettle as a seed of chaos, but considering that they made the head of a chaos spawn explode, I feel like they are just a rather unruly person.
Everybody else agree? I think so.
Yeah.
Nettle basically two-shotted that thing.
I'm glad for that.
Yeah. Okay, how about Piper? Your opinion or relationship changed?
I mean, the only thing I could think of was getting to know or trying to teach Luca a little bit more about my goddess, whose name I will come up with by the next session. But I don't think that counts as a change.
Okay. All right.
You know, we went in with me.
Sure. How about Nettle?
So I haven't really seen Luca in action, but after seeing them hide, I feel like I have to protect them.
Okay. All right. Does everybody else agree?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh,
You
okay.
tried to protect them.
You did. So that's your opinion has changed to, oh, it's not that they don't belong here, it's that they need me to protect them. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Luca, what about you? Your relationship or opinion changed with anybody?
So I didn't think much of Lucius one way or another. I know that my group had employed them at some point, but I didn't really think much of it. Now I see why. So, yeah, I think they're dependable.
All right.
Aw.
So, everybody agree?
Oh.
Yeah.
All right. Let's mark
Wait.
XP.
Yeah.
Who marks XP for that?
That would be Luca.
Okay.
So now
Oh, wait. Do we mark XP for any of that?
you only mark XP for yours. If your opinion or relationship changed with another character and everyone agrees, then you mark XP.
Do you also mark XP if your drive was met?
Yes, you
Yeah.
mark XP for the drive, you mark
So you should
XP
have
for
to
the opinion or relationship, and then third, and I'm going to go in reverse order this time, point out something awesome that another character did that no one else has mentioned yet. If you do, mark XP. So, Luca, tell us something awesome that somebody else did that hasn't been mentioned yet.
I think it's really freaking cool that that Piper went in with like no fear into the place.
That was pretty awesome. Mark XP. Nettle, tell us something awesome that somebody else did.
Well, I was gonna say when Lucia stood in front of the thing, just like, and was like ready to go. But does that count? Because it was like kind of sad, but like kind of wasn't.
I think that was all. I thought it was awesome because
I
that's
thought
like
it was awesome.
that's what Lucius is for. So yeah, I agree. Mark XP.
Okay.
Piper.
So again, I don't mark XP,
Correct.
but they do. Okay.
Correct. You'll get your chance in a moment. I promise.
Okay.
I'm just going to reverse order because I was
Yeah.
doing this. I'm looking at the screen order, but I didn't. But I wanted Luca to have a chance. But Piper, something awesome that somebody else did that nobody's mentioned yet.
I think it was awesome that Luca, our bard, screamed a discordant sound that, yes, made us drop all the things, but was also pretty cool.
Agreed. And then finally, Lucius.
I was gonna do that one.
So to come up with a different one, you got some. There were so many awesome moments.
My head is now blanking. All
right, I gotta go.
Okay.
I can't. Yeah, I can't. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
I can't.
Bye, Forda. We're just going to wrap up. So, everybody, Forda, thank you for coming. Forda Ver on Twitter. Bye, folks. Well, the rest of us will say goodbye, but we'll say bye to Forda.
Bye, Florida.
Bye.
What was Nettle's pet's name?
Cirsa.
Cirsa? Yeah.
Cirsa.
I think them, like, going out to attack the thing and, like, barely taking any damage from that.
That was cool. Yeah, they took only 1 damage. That was good. All right, so Mark XP. So, to wrap this up real quick, let's go just around, tell people who you are. If there's anything you want people to be able to find about you, like if you've got something to plug or not, it's okay. And we'll just go around and do that real quick. So, Jesse.
Hi, I'm Jesse. You can find me at Chahoose the Moose on Instagram and Twitter. I think those are the only social media sites I'm active on. You can also catch me on The Old Myth on Sundays at 3 p.m. EST or EDT. Sorry, EDT. And yeah, or catch me hanging out in variant roles.
Yeah, we live here, and yeah, it's daylight time right now until the fall. So it's EDT. Jimmy.
I'm Jimmy. You can find me at Demon Bismuth, capital D, capital B. Pretty much on a lot of different things. Mostly Twitter, a little bit of Instagram. Sorry, my video wasn't working for the second half of the stream, but yeah.
We'll work it out. Cole.
Hi, I'm Cole. You can find me at Cole Moriel on Twitter. You can catch me Saturday night for the finale of Tamarot's Fate. And also just a person I want to give a shout out to, Jossum on Twitter is a really great artist, and if we could show her some love, I think that would be really awesome.
How do you spell that?
We'll post in chat.
Yeah, JAWSUM.
Okay.
She releases her comic. There's an update every Wednesday and Saturday, I think. So it's called Witchcraft. It's pretty cool. And
I think her commissions are open.
And her commissions are open. So you should totally check her out because she's great.
Fantastic. And then finally, I'm Kyle. I'm TechnoSkull on Twitter. I write a blog on D&D and other role-playing games at technoskull.me. And I also live here. I'll be back on Sunday morning at 11 a.m. Central, noon Eastern for Gothic Brunch, which is a D&D 5e game set in a, Gothic world with friends and awesomeness. And other than that, you can always catch me in VR Discord. So, good night, everybody. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch y'all next week. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.